And a go. Welcome to Disaster Party Podcast. As always, this is Rob Cedeno with me today, and welcome back.
Oh, whoa, Daddy, it's your boy Andy Bivians. That's Bivians, the one and only. And I got to tell you, Rob, after 2 weeks of being lying in bed with COVID, I feel so fresh and so clean, because today we're on episode 14. Whoa, Daddy.
Every single time. I don't know how you do it. So before, if you're watching us on video, you see there's two other people with us. But before we introduce them, I just want to say, again, it helps us out when you guys follow us on all our social platforms. Again, that's Disaster Party Pod. Just find us. You'll see the same logo. Like, share, review, comment, rate, all that stuff. All right. So now, let's introduce the special guest host for our top 10. We are doing another top 10. And as always, with our top 10s, well, this is only the second one, we have two guests on to share our top 10 list. And this week is top 10 video games of all time. So I will let you guys pick who can introduce themselves first. One is a returning guest. The other one is a first-timer. Gentlemen, introduce yourself.
What's going on, Pod World? I'm right back like I left something. Brent, back for second time in a row. I know I kind of politicked a little bit to get on this episode. And, you know, you gotta do that sometimes.
Well, you helped us out last week, so that's what you helped us out.
Absolutely.
And just Mike.
All right, and just
First
Mike
time.
is here.
Just
First time, long
Mike.
time.
Yep.
Nice. Mike is a longtime friend, and me and Mike play video games a lot together. Well, a lot more before we had children. So this was a good episode for him to be on, because I'm sure that we have very similar lists when it comes to gaming.
Yeah, and I really wanted to be on this one, especially because I've built a few of my own arcades here, so to put some input on some of these older games and even some of the newer ones, I thought would be pretty cool.
Awesome.
That's dope.
That's
dude.
cool.
He
That's
has
something I've
a
always kind of
huge
wanted to do, but
arcade.
don't have the knowledge to do it. So
He has a huge arcade that has like flapping wings that you can add the two controllers on each side, and it's like see the size of this one? It's like triple the size.
Here, I'll actually walk to it in a second here. I'll turn it on so you can actually see it. It turns on from my phone, so it just takes a second just to light it up, not to boot it up or anything. But then everyone can kind of see it, and those that are listening can visualize it.
Yeah, just visualize it. Those that are listening, not watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
This is like every kid's dream right here.
It's
So
Damn.
So it says
Awesome.
bang it, the marquee lights up. I probably shouldn't have it on, but you can see obviously it's got the coin door and they got the 4 panels, and those 2 on the side do fold down. It's when I need the extra space. So
do you actually charge people to play it though? Or?
yeah,
Right? Like, that's a killing right there, man.
I should.
There's been a few drunken nights that me, Mike, and like 2 other friends have just gone over there, and we just drank and just played the arcade, and then it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm getting a text saying, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm still at Mike's. It's 2 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. Oh shit!" But
It did please a lot.
yeah, the time goes by really quick. All right, Andy, start us off, bro.
That's
Let's talk
fantastic.
about what's been going on this week that we want to touch on before we get into our top 10.
Word. Well, first off, I would like to say thank you to Brent for holding it down for me last week as I was out. And thank you for everybody that reached out to me asking how I was doing. I did test positive for COVID. It sucked. I was in bed literally for like 10 days straight. It started out with just feeling like I and then I woke up Monday morning. It was like something's not right. I literally thought I just had the flu. But I went to my job, got tested positive, and then literally have been stuck in this room for the last 10 days. Definitely feeling better now, but like if you're not feeling well, I know a bunch of other people that have gotten sick too. Definitely get tested, man, because you don't want it. It sucks a lot. But yeah, enough about COVID. Enough about everything, all that stuff. This week, because everybody knows that I'm a huge fan of the CW Arrowverse, they premiered the Flash trailer that's coming out with the new season. Flash finally finds a way to open up the portal into the Mirrorverse so that way he can go and grab Iris, because she's been stuck there pretty much the entire last season. But Barry only has 1% Speed Force left, so can he go in as the Flash or can he go in as himself? So I'm personally excited to see that.
I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds exciting.
Yeah, same here. I haven't watched one Arrowverse show at all. Although Sarah and I just tonight started watching Lucifer. I don't know if you guys heard of this show. It was on
Yeah,
Fox
Taylor's
for a
been
while.
watching that.
Apparently, it's like based on a DC comic. I didn't know that until I started looking up stuff about the show. But
Oh.
Yeah,
I guess he made an appearance on one of the Arrow shows at one point too. But
I think the
He
only
made
one
an appearance in the what were you saying?
No, I was saying the only one I saw was Green Arrow. That was the only one I saw. But
Yeah, I only watched like 3 or 4 seasons of that. Yeah, Andy?
still there.
I think I'm back. I froze for a second. What'd you
I
say?
thought he froze for a second. But yeah.
The next story. What's the next story that you want to touch on, man? I think I know what you want to touch on, so let's talk about it.
So the next story, Zack Snyder finally has put out that there's an R rating for the new Justice League that's coming out. I'm super excited. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a completely different movie.
People better die.
I mean, it's looking that way.
Why else make it a
The
rated R
trailers
movie?
look sad. That's true.
What the Superman's gonna say? Fuck these bad guys. Rated R.
Oh,
It could be it. That could be it.
it could be. It could be. Have you guys been also keeping up with WandaVision?
Yes. This past
I haven't
this past
started it yet.
episode.
Hey, don't give nothing away. I haven't started it yet. Waiting for the whole thing to come out.
Oh,
Mike,
oh
anything?
man, it's gonna be awesome.
Any input on that, Mike?
I watched one episode and I gotta say I wasn't impressed. So I'm hoping that one episode in I see a little bit better going forward.
Okay, Mike. I'm gonna give you a rundown. Okay.
Doesn't start
First-
getting crazy till episode 4, right? That's what I.
Until like episode 4. Yeah. The first 3. Well, the first 2 episodes are basically like they confuse the fuck out of you, and you're like, "What is going on? I don't know." And then episode 3 kind of fills in a little bit, and you're like, "Okay." And then episode 4 changes the whole season. It just changes the whole season. And then episode 5, you're like, "What is happening?" So it gets progressively,
Pretty much.
It gets progressively better. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. What else, Andy?
But
Come on.
they're saying that because of that and because of certain characters, there might be an X-Files type series coming to Marvel.
Oh yeah, you can't really say
So-
anything because they haven't seen it.
I did
Exactly.
see like a little headline about that though, so you can talk a little bit about it if you want. I don't know how much of it would actually give away stuff from the show, but
Oh, it's just agents that are trying to figure out what the stuff that's going on in WandaVision. They basically might get a spin-off show.
so it would be like a spin-off of a spin-off, and then they'll do a
Yeah,
spin-off of
yeah,
that
pretty
spin-off, and then
Pretty much.
But if you like knew the
Pretty
characters that we're talking about, it would probably have a little bit more impact, and it would probably be a bigger discussion point. But
Was he in any of the movies? Like I've seen every MCU movie, but there's so many I can't remember. That character, what was his name? Jimmy Woo. Was
no.
he
Yeah.
in the movie?
He wasn't in a movie, was
Yeah, he's in Ant-Man. He's the cop in Ant-Man.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to remember because they're so 33-hour movies.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why I was so excited when I saw him and he's like reprising that like same role, but like the two characters together, they're perfect, I think, for each other.
Yeah, without spoiling it.
Yeah.
But did you see that apparently War Machine is going to be in Winter Soldier and Falcon show? See, that's gonna be
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
That's going to be
He's
almost
getting his
like a
own
mini
show
Avengers.
too, though, isn't he? Isn't it that Armor Wars or
Oh
whatever?
yeah.
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
it's just hard to keep up. There's so many. They announced like 20 different.
The armored one apparently is him trying to protect the like safe of Tony Stark's armor or something. Like he has a big like thing of armors that are still there that people are trying to steal, and he basically becomes this like security guard to the.
I got a question for you guys. It's a slightly off topic, but it has to do with the MCU. Are they ever planning on doing anything with Remember in Iron Man 3 when he like crashed into that barn and he's like hanging out with that kid, and then they said that they showed like an older version of him at the end of Endgame. Spoiler alert! If anybody's seen Endgame, I feel like most everyone's seen it now. At Tony's funeral.
You'd be surprised.
I heard.
I didn't know if that was going to lead to anything.
I heard that they might make him like the younger Iron Man because there are different variations of Iron Man.
For like the Young Avengers, right?
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
You don't know, like that was apparently it was pretty last minute that they even threw him in there. So, yeah. All right, real quick. Now,
Didn't like none of them know about it?
No, I think they did know about it.
They like got dressed up but didn't know what the scene was for.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't.
Oh yeah, because they probably didn't want it to get out that Tony dies, right?
Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it.
Again, you'd be surprised.
Hey, if you haven't seen it by now, sorry. It's the way the cookie crumbles.
All right, question. Honest answer here. Who is invested in Dogecoin?
Not me.
Well, Andy, I know that you are, but you were invested in Dogecoin when it was like less than a cent.
Yup. Up what?
I'm assuming by his joyous reaction that it went up a lot.
He's up like how much are you up right now? Percentage wise.
Hold up. Percentage wise, 1,500.
He's up 1,500% on Dogecoin.
Not bad.
I had Dogecoin when he bought Dogecoin, but I
it.
sold it.
Yeah, isn't that the one you were telling me about last week that's worthless or it's a fake fake currency or something?
But what keeps happening is that Elon Musk keeps tweeting about it. So every time he tweets about it, people keep buying it, and it's at like almost 88 cents. Or no, 8 cents, not 88 cents. It's almost at 8 cents right now.
Yeah.
It's gonna crash.
Listen,
again.
Elon, keep doing what you're doing. Elon, keep doing what you're doing. Keep tweeting what you're tweeting. I'm with you. I'm with you.
I honestly,
Rob sounds like he's mad he doesn't own any. That's
I had some, and if I held on to it as long as Andy did, I'd have a nice little pocket of money right now. No, but I think.
Imagine when it hits $1.
It's not going to hit $1.
Oh, it's going there.
It's because a
Feel
hater.
it.
It's not going to hit $1.
Feel it.
It's not going to hit $1.
Feel it.
There
Rob's
is
mad because he pulled out.
No, there is no mathematical way that the Dogecoin will hit $1. There's no mathematical way. For Dogecoin to hit $1, it has to have a higher market cap than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is in the top 10 of all businesses and asset market cap. So you then have to say that Dogecoin has to have a higher market cap than Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and all these things to hit $1. A fake
Listen,
coin.
they said the same thing about Bitcoin.
No, but Bitcoin has a purpose. Bitcoin.
But they said the same thing about Bitcoin when it started.
They
said it was never gonna last. It was never gonna fail. Where is it at now?
Bitcoin has a use case. Dogecoin does not. Dogecoin does not have a use case.
That's true for now.
No.
For now.
Andy. Take your money and run, bro, before it crashes to zero.
You can tell here who plays the stock market and who doesn't. Based off this.
Nah,
Mike,
I play on hold it, forget it, and be happy.
The Doge?
I actually was reading it with you yesterday. I saw Elon Musk made it as basically a practical joke, pretty much. And now it's blew up to make Andy there happy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I held on to the amount that I had, because I bought it before Andy did, so if he's up 1,500%, I would have been up like 2,000%. I would have.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's all right.
Easy. Bro, the way you throw into the stock market, you would have been easy. Probably triple that.
Yeah. Maybe even 5 figures I would have made from Dogecoin. Anyways, so we can move on from that. How was your guys' experience after Brent and I recorded on Sunday? There was a snowstorm in New York on Monday and Tuesday. how was it for you guys? Because it was a fucking pain in the ass for me. I was out there both days for 9.5 hours between the 2 days, shoveling, and every time I shoveled, the fucking snowplow just threw it all back, and then I had to do it again, and then I had to do it again, and then I shoveled the neighbor's house because she's like an 86-year-old woman, so I'm trying to help her because she's alone, and then again, all back, and I'm like, this is annoying.
Honestly, it didn't really affect me too much. The beauty of living in an apartment is you don't have to do any of that stuff.
Hate you.
So maintenance guy comes, does the walkways, they plow the parking lot, so I'm good to go. I'm working from home. I've been working from home since the pandemic started, so don't have to go out in it. We ain't really going anywhere right now either because of the pandemic, so it's pretty much another day for me.
Lucky you.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I was dying, so.
I feel like it didn't change Andy's situation too much either.
No, but I will say though, I thought it died out, but this little kid rolled up with their mom in the car. They literally cleaned our entire driveway, both cars, and put down salt.
Sorry, you sounded like a robot.
Kids are still hustling, man.
You sounded like a robot, so I think I got what you said, so I'm going to say it just in case. Correct me if I'm wrong. Some kids came.
Go for it.
Shoveled your driveway and put salt down.
Wow, that's really good.
Wow, I guess
Yep.
Rob speaks cyborg, I guess.
I mean, I have a lot of Cybermen friends, so. Yeah.
For me, it was just a matter of using a snowblower a few times, and I was done. It did take, a couple hours or hour and a half each time. I think I went out in total 3 times, and the last time I really didn't need to go out. Just kind of did to clear everything away. It's the fire hydrant clearing that away that's a real pain because I live on a corner, and they kept plowing the fire hydrant, and like the snow was way higher than the fire hydrant.
And you can get a fine for that, right?
Yeah, well, it's got the little post, so you know where it's supposed to be.
Praying it doesn't snow higher than that.
Yeah.
I think we're supposed to get some more this weekend.
Well, we got some more today, and that was annoying. So, okay.
Did it snow that much today?
Yeah, probably like 2 inches, maybe. Yeah, 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you have windows in your house, Andy?
I do. I didn't get anything really. I got like a dusting like on top of my car, and that was about it.
Yeah.
So now, before we get into the top 10, who cares about the Super Bowl? Because it's Super Bowl Sunday, and the 4 of us are doing this instead of watching the Super Bowl. So that shows how much we care.
I mean, I got some money in the pot, so like hopefully I win some money. And now they're just doing half.
I heard you have some money, and it wouldn't be bad if you won some.
Yes.
Okay,
Apparently, technology hates me tonight.
Cybermen, thank you so much for teaching me robot.
Yeah, kick somebody else off your Wi-Fi in the house or something.
Yeah.
Right? I'm about to shut everything down.
Close some programs if you have more than one on or something. I don't know.
Nah, I only got one up.
Oh, okay.
For me personally, I haven't been paying as much attention to sports the past few years for a couple reasons. One, all the teams I root for suck, so watching them is just frustrating. So you kind of give up on it after a while. And my girlfriend's not too much into sports either, so just don't have really the time to watch them. As far as the Super Bowl in particular, all I'll say is fuck Tom Brady. And anytime that motherfucker's in there, I ain't watching.
That's fair. That's fair.
That guy, he's like 100 years old. Just fucking retire. Go away. I'm sick of you. Like, come on. I know it probably makes me sound like a hater, but whatever. I don't like it.
Okay, you're allowed to be. Mike?
Just like I said earlier, he's probably going to take over another championship tonight.
Yeah, he probably is. They're leading right now. So.
Yeah.
Are they still leading?
Last I checked, it was 14-3. It was a little while before we started recording. So.
Yeah, he's been amazing. I remember when they used to say how Dan Marino was one of the best quarterbacks who never won a Super Bowl, and it seems like Tom Brady is just kind of like laughing at that.
I agree.
Fuck Tom Brady.
Yeah, I second that.
All right, boys. Let's get to it. Let's start. Let's go. Top 10. Here we go. Let's start. Wait a second. We're going to do our top 10 video games of all time. We might have some honorable mentions at the end, so be fair. This is all opinion based. This is all what we have experiences with, so don't hate on us if our number one is not your number one, and then we start getting hate mail over it. Cállate la boca, please. So we're going to start.
Yep.
We're going to go in order, one at a time. We're going to start with Brent, then go to Andy, then go to Mike, and then go to myself. Here's the rules, boys. If you have a game that is on someone else's list, just say ditto and then explain why when it's your turn and it comes up on your list. Deal?
Word.
Sounds good.
Word. All right. Brent, start us off.
All right, I want to give a quick little disclaimer on my list before we start, just kind of extension of what Rob said. So I haven't been as heavy in the game in the past 10, 15 years or so. So a lot of this stuff on my list is going to be from more of my formative years when I was more in the game when I was younger. So you're going to see a lot of late 80s, 90s, early 2000s stuff. So for any of the newer gamers out there, that might annoy you, but whatever, it's my list. So, and hence the shirt also. No school like the old school.
Tell them.
Okay.
So with that said, I'm going to go with my number 10 game, which is Booyah.
Oh, he's got the games up,
that?
like, ready? Should I have the games up ready?
Hey, we're on YouTube. I might as well use visual aids, right?
Oh, all right. You guys talk. I will be right back. I'll be right back. All right.
I don't think I can do that.
All right, so I went with Tomb Raider as my number 10 because to me this game is a franchise that's kind of had its up and downs, but the first three to me are really good. And the first one in particular is the first game I can really remember playing that really felt like immersive, like 3D game where you really feel like I'm playing, like I'm taking a journey with this character and like I'm playing like a movie, like going through all the different things and just. Before that, it's always like 2D platformers and stuff like that, which are great. Don't get me wrong, but this one really felt like a story. So that's why that's my number 10.
Man, was a jam back in the day. Love Raider.
Yeah, and feminism, female main character, so that's cool too.
That was the first game with a female character, wasn't it? Pretty much.
Well, no. Metroid, even though you don't find out to the end, but Samus, female character, that kind of shocked people back in the day.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, as far as
does it count? You didn't know.
Yeah, I guess if you don't count that, if you want to use that to say it doesn't count, then I'd say Tomb Raider.
So now I got a question for you since you said Tomb Raider, because I'm a huge fan of them. What do you feel about the new series of Tomb Raider mixed with the movie?
So you're talking about like the ones that are for like Xbox One and like the ones that the new one that came out in 2013 from On. So
Yeah.
when I first got my Xbox One in 2016, it came with a free game and it was I think it was Rise of the Tomb Raider, the second one. So I played that
Okay.
one a little bit, but I haven't played the first one or the third one yet. But I actually just recently over Christmas break there's a bunch of games that were on sale and I bought them both. I haven't started them yet, but when I get to play them, I'll get back to you on. Obviously, the graphics and everything are so much better. That's the biggest thing you notice. Like it's so much more lifelike back then. Like even though Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider, when it came out in 1996, it looked amazing. Like compared to Super Nintendo or whatever, you're like, oh shit, 3D, pointy boobs. This is cool.
I just remember the goddamn shark used to eat me all the time.
Yeah, or the bear would always fuck me up. Had to try to get up high somewhere. Or the T-Rex, which that always confused me. Like, why are there dinosaurs in this game?
Why not?
Right?
Well, I
Right?
don't know. She's not
I
in
mean,
prehistoric times. So.
I'm not gonna spoil the new ones for you, but if you thought she got her ass whooped in like
Okay,
wait till you see the new one.
like I said, I did play a little bit of the Rise of Tomb Raider, and I did get to the part. It's kind of near the beginning where she gets fucked up by the bear, and you got to like do all this dodging and stuff to get away from it. Yeah, that freaked me out. That scared the shit out of me when that bear popped out. I was like, oh shit.
Right?
All right, Andy.
All right. So coming in at number 10, one of my favorite series from 2008, Left 4 Dead.
Ooh, that's a
Left
good
4
one.
Dead. Left 4 Dead was I want to say it was the first like multiplayer groups zombie survival type game where like you had to run away from like hordes that like ran after you. You had witches that cried and like you couldn't kill them even if you tried. And it was just all around fun. You can play with your friends, you can play by yourself. I'm pretty sure me and Hyro beat like the second and first game like 15 different times, 15 different ways.
Good,
Hey,
good
Mike.
choice. Again, this is gonna be like a recurring theme, but I haven't been as heavy into games in the past 10 years or so. I did play a little bit of Left 4 Dead on my Xbox 360, and I didn't get as much time with it as I would have liked, but from what I played, it was definitely a cool game.
Hey, Mike, remember that game that I told you to put on the arcade?
There were like 5 of them.
Gorilla War?
Yeah, oh yeah, I put it on.
Bam!
Man, this guy got real old school.
Oh,
See, I don't have any of my NES games anymore. I can't go back that far.
I knew I had it.
threw it way back.
Oh, you want to see a way back before Mike goes? Bam!
Yeah.
I had that.
I
That I
know.
might still have in my closet somewhere. You know what else I got in my closet? A 32X and an X band. Does anybody remember X band?
Mm-mm.
No.
This was the first
I do not.
online gaming thing. It was like a modem. It was dial-up, and it was for I'm sorry, I almost said N64. No, it was for Super Nintendo and Genesis. So it was like a cartridge that went in, and then the game went on top, and then you put your phone line in, and you could actually play online.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
didn't work
Oh,
that great
wow.
because again it was dial-up, but you know it was still cool to be able to play online with Super Nintendo. A little ahead of its time.
All right, Mikey.
Yeah, so for me, the very first system I ever played growing up, my parents actually got as a wedding present was the Atari. So growing up, we had the Atari, we had the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64, and then so we were Nintendo for a while. Then kind of switched over to Xbox after that. So anyway, that being said, I have one that doesn't fit any of those criteria with Tapper. Tapper is my number 10. It was created in 1983. It was an arcade-only game. I kid you not, this game is awesome. It requires a joystick and one button, and you are a bartender. And you're just serving drinks to people at the bar, and it becomes like a puzzle game, and the replayability of it is awesome. Mostly because it's like frustrating how many people you have to serve, and at the same time they're shifting their drinks back to you, and you can't let any of the glasses break. There's a lot kind of going on. It sounds really simple, but it gets complicated quick. But it's one of those games that you can just kind of pick up, go, and it's not hard to do at all. But it's a lot. It's a lot of fun to try and beat your high score. So it's very much, there's no story to it. I think it was actually created. There's some Budweiser logos in it, actually. I did some reading up. I did some reading up on it, and the first cabinets actually had like a beer tap as the joystick, and then a normal button. So it's kind of funny. They later
That's dope.
Yeah, they later came out with a version for kids called Root Beer Tapper.
Yeah, I see. When you start talking about it, I was like, it sounds kind of familiar, and then I think that was the one I knew.
It is in Wreck-It Ralph. It is in Wreck-It
Yes.
Ralph.
It's referenced in Wreck-It Ralph. Yep.
Yeah, as root beer though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why Disney would use
Oh.
root beer.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of things that have been questionable.
All
Yeah.
right. Anything else you want to add, Mike? Sorry.
No, I think I said enough for my number 10.
All right.
If you haven't seen it, just Google it, and it's pretty cool.
It is pretty fun. I was playing that on Mike's Arcade not too long ago, and it was a lot of fun. All right. So
So
what I put for number 10 is Streets of Rage 2. 1992. I played it on Sega. I don't know if you guys played it on Sega. But
Yeah, I think it only came
Yup.
out for Genesis. It was a Sega game.
that game, okay, there's this every game I have has like a story behind it. So I used to play that game at my grandmother's house. It was that and Bomberman. Those were the two games I played at my grandmother's house. But I just remember like the soundtrack of that game, like when remember when you're going to like the haunted house, and it's
Yep.
and then the little kid with the skates is like, oh Kiki, like that game. Come on, I'm still remember that was 1992. I was actually probably playing it when it first came out because in 1992 I was 5. So like I looked up the ratings, like so my list has I put the year and like what the average rating was that I could find online. That game got an average rating of 9 out of 10.
wow.
That was fun. It was a fun game. But
Yeah, that whole series was classic. And then it went dormant for a really long time, but they recently brought it back. Did anybody play Streets of Rage 4?
is that out yet? I thought it was coming out.
No, it came out. It came out in like 2018, I think. But I actually
Oh.
just got it recently for the Switch. I haven't started playing it yet. That's
Okay.
going to be another reoccurring theme. Is I have a shitload of games I'm ready to play, but trying to find the time to play them is the problem.
There you go.
I'm trying to get back in the game. I gotta switch.
I hear that
my
1,000%.
Yeah, I just got to switch for my birthday in December. I had an Xbox One since 2016, but I always just use it to watch Netflix and stuff. But I just recently bought some games, so I'm trying to get back into it.
There you go. All right, Andy, move on to numero 9.
Numero 9. Number 9 is Crisis.
I think you guys skipped me.
It was the first.
Oh no, we didn't. You
Yeah, I
said
didn't get my
Tomb
number
Raider.
9.
Oh yeah, Brent goes number 9. So
Oh,
I forgot the order. I set the
Go
order.
ahead.
I forgot the order.
Nah, that's all right. My number 9 is a game that you guys actually brought up on a recent episode, and that is the X-Men arcade game.
That game is
This-
so good.
Yes, this game to me is. And I have a few like arcade games that were arcade only I played growing up that were great, but this one was always my favorite. So this is like the quintessential arcade beat 'em up. It's like 1 to 4 players. Each player has their own superpower. My joint was Colossus. "Argh!" You scream and like, you start glowing and just knock everybody off the screen. And that thing was just so
Hell
fun to
yeah.
play. I dumped so many quarters in that thing on the Jersey Shore. We would go on beach vacations with my family. My family's at the beach. I was at the arcade playing X-Men.
it's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Did you actually know that they made a 6-player version of that?
Yes, and I actually saw one. Sean and I went to a wrestling event in Philly, and we were like hanging out during the day before the show. And we were walking around, went to this comic book shop, and they had it, the big one with the 6-player, the 6 joysticks. It was
Barcade in New York City had it. I don't know if they still have it, but they had it. And Brent, I used to play that game. I will tell you, it's not on my list. It probably should be. I used to play that game in the Nathans in Yonkers, I think off Central Avenue. And they used to have like a little arcade attached to the Nathans. And I used to, like, on my birthday, I would go in and just spend like $30 in quarters and just play that game. But
That's awesome.
the story that I want to say is that we were at Mike's house, me and another friend of ours were at Mike's house and we were playing that, again, drinking. And because Mike's arcade had, like, you could do the unlimited live by pressing the button, our friend was Colossus. And he just kept spamming the special move. And as you know,
that's what I did too.
the special move drains your health.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately.
He's just bah, 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 bah,
But if you got
bah,
unlimited,
bah,
if you got unlimited
bah.
continues, then you're good to go.
And that's all he was doing. And he was like down, like he was losing with another character, like the score wise. And then he just came in as Colossus and just kept spamming the move. And he's just like, he has 100,000 points higher than us because he's just sitting there spamming the move and killing every guy before they even like show up on the screen. Anything you want to add, Mike?
No, I just remember, thankfully, he didn't find it till about halfway through the game.
Yep.
I used to play that game in Grand Central Station. Me and Deb would go there, and that I would just like dump money into that game.
So many
Grand
good
Central Station used to dump money into that game.
Yeah, me and Dad used to
That's
go
the
there
gist of it.
all the time, and I used to dump money.
You keep going robot voice, so I'm trying to translate for you.
I think I froze again. What was that?
I said you keep doing robot voice, so I'm trying to translate for you.
Word. You're my translator for the night.
I'm trying here. It is your turn now, though, Andy. Unless you have anything else to say, Brent.
No, I'm good.
All right. It's
We're on number 9.
Damn, Andy, your internet hates you today.
Yeah, your computer is like, your computer still has COVID.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It probably does. It probably does. While I'm still moving, number 9 is Crisis 2. It came out in 2011. Love that game. You know, I'm a fan of Green Arrow and anything archery. In that game, you can use a bow and arrow, and it was like fire, electricity, everything. It's pretty much alien coming down, and he's trying to fight the aliens off the planet, and he's got to like blow up their system and their ship. But his tech and his suit is the same thing that's made from aliens use, so kind of like together. And so like he can go stealth, so you can't see him. Like it's really crazy.
Andy, I appreciate your number 9. So I'm going to ask you to quit out and come back, because I as your translator, I couldn't make any of that out.
All right. I'm gonna bow out.
Spacesuit, bow and arrow, aliens, same suit as the aliens, and that's
You've
all I
heard
can
more
make.
than me then.
That's all I can
I heard
make out.
That was about as far as I got it.
Okay. So just back
All
out,
right,
come back in.
I'm gonna bow out then. I'll be right back.
Okay, we'll miss you while you're
Word.
gone.
Oh man.
All right, Mike.
Yep.
Go ahead.
So my number 9 was Fable 2 for the Xbox 360. Came out in 2008, and I think it was the first game that I played where you could really make your own choices within a game. And it actually affected your character and affected your surroundings. I remember you did anything evil in that game, and if you got evil enough, your storyline completely changed, or your character like grew horns even.
Mhm.
Or if your character was good enough, you pretty much got like a halo around your head. So for me, I don't necessarily remember the story all that much anymore, but that was really cool seeing that whatever choices you made really affected the game. And since then, they've changed a bunch of games. Like I know Mass Effect has, I've played that, and that has similar type of storyline too, where the storyline changes based on the decisions you make. But for me, Fable 2 was the best of the Fable series, so went with that one.
I agree with you 100%. That is the best Fable game out of all of them. And I don't know if you saw, but wham! I still have it. Special edition box is looking pretty prime.
See, all of my stuff is in the arcade. Like I use my arcade as a storage, so I still have all that original stuff, but it's just too hard to get at and pull out right now.
Look at that devil. Look at that.
I've never played it, so I can't really offer any commentary on it for you.
It's a fun game.
Very cool game.
Legitimately a fun game.
I don't sit down and play games by myself very often, so if a single player game holds my attention for a while, it pretty much made my list.
It has 2 discs too.
I would assume that means it's very long.
Either that or Xbox didn't know how to have you save it.
Yeah, I didn't remember that, but
you know what? I do remember that because when you get to a certain point in the game, it actually says insert disc 2 now. And it wasn't for very much of the game. So you play like 3/4 of the game on the first part.
Yeah. That game was a lot of fun though. I just remember, like you were saying, Mike, to add to what you were saying, is that when you turn bad, you got evil powers. When you turn good, you had good powers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So it's cool like that. All right. Anything else you want to add to that, Mike?
Nope, that's it. All you.
All right. So this part of my list could be a little out of order, but number 9. So fine. Gears of War, the entire series.
Ooh.
It's kind of cheating though, isn't it? You're putting a whole franchise in there.
Oh. I can do what I want.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry, no judgment. You're right.
All right.
That might change a couple things on my list though, so we'll see.
Well, you can change it all you want. All right. So Gears of War, the first one came out in 2006, and I got the ratings. There's 5 games right now, and I got the average rating of each one. You're gonna notice a trend here. The first one got rated 9.5 out of 10. Second one got rated 9.3 out of 10. Third one got rated average 9.1 out of 10. Fourth one 8.9. Fifth one 8.4. So they are slowly going down, but they're still a lot of fun. And I will say that those are some of my favorite games because this guy Mike over here, me and him have been playing those games basically since Gears of War 1. And we have played through all of them together, and then we played the Horde mode afterwards. And the story's good, especially the first 3. I'd say the first 3 are definitely the best because of the characters. The 4 and 5 the characters are not as good, but they're still a fun game. So that is on my top 10. So I'm going to place that at number 9.
Do the characters change in the 4th one, or?
The characters from 1, 2, 3 like get older, and then 4 and 5 is like their kids.
If you can't tell by that question, I've also never played Gears of War. I actually have the first 2 for Xbox 360. I just never played them. I have a stack of games for Xbox 360 that I either never played or like only played a little bit. Again, just trying to find the time. It's not always easy, but yeah.
I hear that. All right, Brent, number 8.
All right, number 8. Again, going retro. I'm going Kid Icarus for the original NES.
Okay.
This is like my favorite platformer of all time. For anyone who doesn't know, it's you're like a little angel. You got your little bow and arrow. You're going through. You're killing snakes. You're killing all kinds of weird creatures. So you get to the end, you got to fight Medusa. This is a pretty difficult game. It kind of goes hand in hand with Metroid. I feel like those two are always kind of linked together. And this is one of those original like adventure games for the Nintendo. My older sister, she kind of introduced me to video games. She had an NES before me, and she always played this game, and I kind of would watch her, and then I just got into it, and so it has a lot of good memories and nostalgia, and I love that game.
Okay. Okay. I played it so long ago. I have nothing to add.
I don't think I've ever played it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's underrated. It's not, like I said, I link it with Metroid, but Metroid was obviously way more popular and went on to have like a much more of a franchise. Like Kid Icarus there was like a sequel for Game Boy, and then I think way later they did some for like Nintendo 3DS. They did one.
I know the character is in Super Smash Brothers.
They're in Super Smash Brothers also. Yeah, Pit is his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't as a franchise. It didn't get the love as a lot of the other Nintendo stuff did. So.
Andy, number 8.
All right. As long as I don't sound like a robot, that's how I'm good now. So my number 8, I'm a piggyback off of Rob a little bit, but I'm gonna go with, I don't know if you guys could see it, the Ultimate Alliance franchise.
Okay.
I love I loved this game when it first came out. I remember sitting up a chair the TV and being playing, and I remember playing as Venom the entire time. Now as Hulk. So yeah, that's my. I think the original came out in 2000 and I can see this here. It came out in 2006.
Okay.
It's still running strong.
That is a fun game. And
Yeah, I remember playing that game too. Actually, I think I borrowed it from you, Rob.
oh, maybe.
As soon as I beat it, I gave it back. But I remember that being a cool one. That was different than a lot of others at the
I
time.
think I played it for either GameCube or Xbox 360. I can't remember what system.
This is another
It
one
was
that
like the first mashup too.
Sorry, this is another one I've never really played except briefly. I played the third one at Rob's house on the Switch, and it was really hard. We were getting our
Yeah.
asses kicked.
We're on fucking Dormammu, and he's fucking really hard. Me and Andy can't beat
Bro.
Dormammu. We're stuck.
Rob's always like, "Yo, block, block." I was like, "I am."
Just like you're blocking your robot voice.
Yeah, that didn't really remedy the situation too much. Andy.
It's helped a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so
Okay.
now it's Mike.
All right. Number 8, it's funny we did a lot of series, but I actually said the BioShock series. Same thing,
Ooh.
Xbox 360. I think they had it for PlayStation too. But specifically like the first and the second one were the best. Just the concept of drilling one hand and gunning the other, pretty cool. And same thing with the decisions. The story was really pretty cool, and the made up world. I remember it being pretty much one of the first games that I had that like the world around you really just kind of like sucked me in. Just because it was really that underwater, again, world. I don't know how else to explain it. That was just really captivating. And you were in the first one saving these like little girls that were at the same time also creepy. So, and
You were Big Daddy.
yeah. So it was a little odd, but that's what I think sucked me in too at the time. So.
I played the
BioShock
most
series?
recent one, I think.
What's that?
I played the most recent one, I think.
BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one was okay. That one's like in the sky, if I remember right, like in the clouds.
Hmm.
Yeah. So same thing. I beat all 3 of those games, and if I play a game all the way through, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I played a little bit of BioShock.
Never played it.
Yeah, it's just so different than everything else.
I think Rob is like disgusted every time I say that. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to do. It's a first person, like, is it a shooter or like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never. That's another genre. I can't get into the first person. I never liked Call of Duty. I didn't even like GoldenEye. Everybody else loved GoldenEye. I can't do the third person view. Like, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't work for me.
First person or third person view?
I think he means-
First person, yeah, with the one where you don't see your character. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
like that. I always feel like I can't see with my peripherals. There's always somebody on the side of me blowing my brains out, and it's like I don't even know what happened. It's like, what, like I don't know. It's...
All right.
I hear you. I'm like that too.
Are we on 8, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. 8 on Rob.
All right. Number 8. This game came out in 1998 in the U.S. It was in Japan in 1996. It's a Game Boy game called Pokemon.
Ooh, talk about it.
I put specifically Pokemon Red, and that got an average rating of 8.8. So these are the things why, as you can see, there's Pikachu's up there, right up here. Anyways, those games, I just remember, you play through the game, whatever, then you get Mewtwo at the end. Cool. Do you remember? I don't know if you guys played it as hardcore as I did, but there was an island that if you surfed on the right side of it, you'd get that Pokemon called like Missing No, and it was just like a static Pokemon that you would catch it and it would just be a static and it would just like ruin your game. And then, or it didn't ruin your game, but it was like it was weird. And then back then, you would had a Game Shark. Remember that? You'd have to. It would plug into the top, and then you'd plug the Game Boy game up underneath it, and then you'd get like unlimited Master Balls and all this stuff. And
I'll do you one better. What about Game Genie? Are you going way back?
okay, yeah. But now, Pokemon Red and Blue came out for the OG Game Boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ready, Rob? Ready, Rob? You're gonna
Yes.
love this. Never played it.
How did you? How?
I don't know, man. Pokemon just never did it for me. It just seemed weird. It's like two creatures yelling at each other. Like, what is
They
it?
battle, bro. You're trying to be the very best. Like no one ever does.
It's-
To catch them is my real quest. To train them is my cause.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
he said the two creatures yelling at each other. I'm done.
Oh
God.
man.
Yeah, the
Hey,
original
you know what game I
Boy
did like?
Pokemon was awesome.
You know what game I did like a lot though? Pokemon Puzzle League for Nintendo
Oh,
64.
that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm a big puzzle game nerd. I like those.
Okay.
Which we'll get back to that later on.
Okay. Mike, Andy, anything on Pokemon Red?
I know exactly what you're talking about, Rob. I had the red and the blue version, and I used to play on a Game Boy Pocket all the
Okay,
time.
yep.
So when we got the Game Boy, it was the Pocket, so I had that, and I did exactly what you were just explaining. You get those unlimited whatever. They had to do something very specific to get all that. I have no idea what it was anymore. But
Yeah, I can't remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had red and yellow.
I had
for Game
yellow.
Boy.
My brother had blue. I had red. I got yellow. I accidentally erased his game because I thought if I wanted Squirtle, so I started a new game on his, not realizing that when you trade,
Oh.
it saves over. Yeah, he was pissed.
I bet. I remember you guys ever had the book that came with the game that like maps you got.
There was a book that came with the game. Yeah, I got that with my Game Boy. I think.
I'll do you one better with that story.
I
Rob.
was just trying to make out from your translation. Sorry, Andy. Your robot translation.
Ah, I'm freezing again.
Which
I'll
I
do you
tried. I tried.
I'll do you one better with that story, Rob. I just had mentioned on my last game that my older sister had a Nintendo before me, and that was where I first got into games. And one time I was playing her NES, and I was really young and obviously really stupid because the thing I did, what I'm about to say, was beyond stupid. But like, I was eating a popsicle, and I put the popsicle down on top of the NES, like that little that grate that's on like the right side of it, if you know what the old NES looks like.
Are you talking about this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it melted into the NES and it broke.
Man.
And then that Christmas I got an NES.
Did
Yeah.
she ruin it? Did she ruin yours like you
No,
ruined
she
hers?
didn't, which to her credit. But
Yeah,
Did
bro.
she want to play it more than you because you ruined hers?
she kind of. I feel like I ruined her love for video games after that. I feel like she kind of got out of them after that. So.
1985 this thing was made. 1985.
Yeah, man, and it probably still works too.
Oh no, this one?
Probably
This one in
works
my
better
hand?
than a PS4.
This
Yeah,
one in my
probably.
hand still works.
Yep. You might have to blow on the cartridge a little bit and kind of finagle it in there to get it to work right, but it's gonna work regardless.
It's dusty as fuck. Look. Like your t-shirt.
That's
Yep,
dope.
there we go.
That's dope.
Andy. Robot. Let's see if
Me?
we can make it through.
Probably
Dude, you
not.
keep skipping me, bro. What's up?
I thought you just went.
No, I was telling a story about breaking my sister's NES. I didn't get my game though.
Oh, okay. My bad. Go ahead.
All right, so real quick too, because I noticed you guys are doing something I keep forgetting to do, given the years on the games. So Tomb Raider was 1996, X-Men 1992, Kid Icarus was 1987. I was 3 years old.
Wow.
All right, so my number 7 game is kind of going back to what you guys are doing, this as a whole of a franchise, a big franchise, and like one of the most famous gaming mascots of all time. So my game is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yep.
This game
Okay.
came out in
Ooh.
1992 for the Sega Genesis, obviously. And, you know, this was the game that like blasted the Genesis into the stratosphere and actually had it, you know, go ahead in Nintendo for a while. And this was also the game I remember. So I was in Sears, again, dating myself. Some people listen to this probably like, what's Sears? Because I don't even know if it exists anymore. But I was in there with my dad, and they back in the day, they actually used to have the console like on display, and you could play it, test it out. They had like a bunch of games in there, and I was playing Sonic the Hedgehog on there, and it was my birthday was coming up, and my dad was just like, "You want that for Christmas or your birthday?" I was like, yeah." So he bought it for me, brought it home. So it came with Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I was just like addicted to that game. And I don't think I ever beat it. I don't think I ever managed to beat it. I should probably go back and try to do that one of these days. But I got pretty far in it. But you know, I spent a lot of hours playing that game.
I can't remember if I beat it either.
I don't think I've ever beaten any of the Sonics.
I haven't.
Oh.
The water stuff always stressed me out as a kid.
Yeah, and you have to like suck in the bubble to
Uh-huh.
breathe again. Dun, 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 it starts doing that, and you get all nervous, like I'm about to die.
Yep. Mike, you've beaten Sonics before?
No, I've actually just started recently playing Sonic in my arcade. I didn't have a Genesis growing up, but my friend did, so we used to play that along with a bunch of others. But yeah,
Okay. Andy, can you do it, no robot?
All right.
Come on, Andy, we
Probably
believe in
not.
you.
I'll give it a hope. So, my next one. Sorry. My next one is Army of Two Devil's Cartel. Came out in 2013. Love that game. I think I beat it like 6 or 7 times through. Both by myself and with Hyro. It was like almost like Call of Duty, but like it was like that there for
Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
15 times. Solo and with Hyro. Trying to translate, guys. And Andy's frozen again.
I think Andy needs to get some Ethernet or something. Wi-Fi ain't cutting it tonight.
Hey, maybe it's Brent. Maybe Brent took a popsicle into.
Yeah, my bad. I did put a popsicle on his computer. I forgot.
God damn it. All right, Mike, I think we're
All right,
just
now I'm
gonna-
back.
You sure?
Probably not. Probably
You're still
not.
frozen on the
Yeah,
video.
we can hear you. We can't see you though.
All right, go through it quick. Army of Two.
Army of Two, awesome game, March 2013.
Got it.
You know what? Maybe there's something to that because he didn't break up that time. Maybe if he's not on
can't
video, we can hear him.
Oh, maybe his videos. Yeah, he's messing them up. Mike, go.
All right, number
Now he's not frozen.
7 here. Donkey Kong for the Atari was the one I played the most.
Okay.
And then recently the arcade, because that's what I have. But Donkey Kong, it's the same thing as Tapper. I mean, it came out in 1982, and it was just, you could just replay that over and over and over. Some of those games that don't have a story but have the almost kind of puzzle aspect to them, where you got to get your timing down and know how to get through the levels, were always pretty cool to me. I mean, it was so cool that the marquee I designed for my arcade is from Donkey Kong. So that makes it to number 7 for me.
Awesome.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Also, but wasn't this the first appearance of Mario?
Yes.
think so.
And he wasn't even known as Mario yet. He was Jumpman, I believe.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, you're talking when Pac-Man was Puck-Man.
Oh yeah, there's your boy right there.
It's a me, Mario. Nice. Anything, Andy? If you're not a robot, anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm good. I mean, I tried to turn headphones off. Let's see if that works. Maybe it's holding too much.
All right. Brent, anything?
You probably didn't play that one.
I don't know if I've ever. I might have played it way back in the. No, probably not the Atari one. No, I probably played on Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
I didn't.
All right.
I didn't. I never really played Atari. I know my sisters had one. Like I don't even know if I was born yet. I don't remember playing Atari when I was a kid. So it's a little before my time.
I have an Atari at my dad's house. Used to play it. I used to play Space something when you're
Raiders.
no, it was the other one. It was like you spun, you stayed in the middle, and you shot. And then I played Frogger.
I've played a few Atari games like on emulators. Like I played Frogger. I
Yeah.
played River Raid was one I liked a lot. Pitfall was kind of cool. But yeah, never
Played
Alright.
Frogger for PlayStation.
Oh, that's probably not the same thing.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think they went 3D with it and kind of made it more like an adventure game. I think I remember.
Yeah.
All right, I'm moving on to my number 7. My number 7 is Super Mario World.
Okay.
It was released in 1990, and it got an average rating of 8.5. If you don't know what system it came out for, I got it for you right here. Super Nintendo. Okay, this game. If I plug this in, this would have so many memories to it. As the dust falls out of the bottom of it, that's how many memories there are in this game. But this game, I just remember that was the first. I think it's the first game with Yoshi.
Yep.
And it had the different colored Yoshis. I remember that. And then you would go to, and you guys, I mean, I'm assuming you guys all played it.
I was playing it earlier today, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like those
That's a
secrets
classic.
that you get to like the star world, and it's like the big star in the middle, and you got the one on the top and like the edge of the star, and then you get like the different Yoshis from that, the red, blue, orange, whatever the colors were, and you'd have to like master some of these levels, and there's probably tricks and stuff that I don't even remember how to do anymore. But I just remember as a kid putting so many hours into that game, just repeating. It's all about getting those keys.
That might not. That was for the Super Nintendo, right, Rob?
Yeah.
So that might not have been the first appearance of Yoshi then, because I remember the original Nintendo, a game called Yoshi's Cookie. That was a puzzle game.
Yeah,
I think
it came out after Super Mario World though, because they were still coming out with
okay.
like Nintendo games after, and I think that either that one or Wario's Woods was like the last game ever made for the original NES.
That makes a little bit more sense though.
Yeah, but no, I'm totally in agreement with you, Rob. That's a great game. It has a ton of replay value because there's so many like secret things, like how to clear the stage or the secret thing with the keys, and you go in and you can like clear a stage like 3 different ways, going all different directions.
Yeah.
And this is like my second favorite Mario platformer of all time.
And how we figured out how to get all those keys in 1990 before the internet or even the guides, like the gaming guides.
Yeah.
How as a child, again, 1990, I was 3 years old, probably didn't play it at 3, but still, like, how the fuck did I figure that shit out?
I have no idea. And that's another thing I was hoping to bring up at some point in the podcast. Like now you just like look up anything on YouTube, you get stuck. It's just there.
Oh, I
like
do that
back
shit
then,
all the time.
You had to spend hours to figure it out back then.
Yup.
All right, Brent, back to you, number 6.
All right, so kind of a spin-off for you. My number 6 is going to also involve Mario. I just talked about Sonic. Mario is, after Sonic, Mario, he's number 1. He's the number 1 mascot when you think of video games. You think of him. And my personal favorite Mario game of all time is Mario Brothers 3 for the original NES. I have this one coming out in 1990. You said 1990 for Super Mario World. And I think maybe it's because we're getting like the Japanese release dates, and I went by the US release date, so it said it came out in 1990. But yeah, so obviously the original Mario Brothers is great, groundbreaking game. The second one's cool too, even though it's like kind of weird. It goes off into like it was like a dream sequence or something.
Or which one was the Yoshi's Island when Mario and Luigi are babies?
He's like a baby, yeah. But the third one to me was just, that's when they perfected it. Like can't really even explain why. It just like that game's just the greatest to me. Like they perfected it with at least for the original like 2D ones for the NES. Obviously, like it went on to do all the 3D stuff, but for the 2Ds, that's like the pinnacle for me.
Super Mario 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one you got to be Toad and Princess.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things. All those different suits for like different worlds. Like he's like the raccoon to fly, and then he's like the frog to swim. And I think there's like another one where there's another thing that kind of looks like a raccoon where he turns into like a stone statue.
2.
That's Super
He's
Mario
talking
Brothers 2.
3.
2 is a good one too.
No, I know he's talking about 3. I have them, so I'm showing them.
You playing show and tell over there?
Wait. 1 with Duck Hunt, motherfucker.
It's a classic.
You want to shoot some ducks?
Ooh. Brought out the gun.
Got the zapper.
Let's see. I got 3 somewhere.
It's actually hard to find a TV now where you can use the zapper because
It has to be one of the old
TV.
school like CRT or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
You can't even do it on a flat screen or whatever. Yeah, because I was gonna say I'm gonna have a couple more visual aids coming up here, but I don't even own any of my old NES, Super NES games anymore. Everything
Bam!
emulators now. There you go.
Ooh. I got them all on.
That was nice robot talk for. I got something.
Damn it, I can't win.
I don't know why your thing is doing that, but it's funny.
I never had a problem before.
No, you haven't. What about this Mario game?
Is this your usual? Spoiler alert. That might be coming up later.
I'll keep it out as a visual aid. Anyone got this as your?
Almost.
I have that as an honorable mention.
I'll keep that as a visual aid. And you notice I'm not saying it, so the ones that are on video are seeing what I'm doing. All right, it's Andy's turn, right?
Yeah, I think Andy's up next. We'll see if he can get through it.
About to start doing sign language, man.
I don't know sign language. I can't translate.
The next one I have is Force Unleashed, which came out in 2008.
Great game.
The reason I love this game is because to me, I feel like it was the first like open world where like you can use like the atmosphere around you within the gameplay. Like you can pick stuff up and chuck it, and like it was the first like free forming game. And it was a choice-based game too, so like depending on what you did, depended on like how the outcome of the end of the game would be. And it had a great story to it too.
I enjoyed the first one definitely better than the second one.
This is another one that, again, I own it and never played it.
Yeah, I started it and I didn't.
Yeah, I might have played it a little bit, but yeah, I didn't get too far in it if I did.
Yeah.
Oh no, Mike, he's not talking about Jedi Fallen Order. He's talking about Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Yeah, no, I know what he's talking.
Oh,
I do have it. I never really started it. It's kind of like Brent. It sat on my pile and I never played it.
Okay.
Don't know how.
It's a fun game.
Yeah, I believe it. All right.
Go ahead.
Moving on.
Moving on.
All right. I put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project for the NES.
Interesting choice.
Very specific. Neither of those.
No, it's neither of those.
I actually have the original box for it too. It came out in 1991, and it's purely on my list as the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, only because it was the only one I had for the NES at the time. So for me, that was one of the best. Now, whether or not it's the best if I ever play the others now, who knows? But it's the only real Nintendo game I can think of that I actually beat, because you couldn't turn off the Nintendo and some of these games took hours to play. So that was the first one. I remember actually bringing my Nintendo to college, and with another guy, we beat the game for like the 5th time. and Rob is kind of sitting in front of one of the games anyway. I think the original one or the second one too.
Yeah, that's the arcade game, which
Yeah.
that's my personal favorite one.
This
But
one?
the one you're talking about is good too, though.
Nope. The one I'm talking about isn't the arcade game, but
Well, no,
yeah.
I'm saying for Brent. He was talking
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the one. 3 is you start off like on a beach or something, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember the cover for that one being cool too, with like they had like that Triceratops space shooting people. I'm like, what is that thing? I
Yep.
remember that from the cartoon.
Oh yeah, the game is all over the place. You're on the beach, you're in space, you're on the water.
Yeah.
They couldn't make up their mind about the setting.
All right. Andy, you want anything you got to say about that?
No, I don't. I played it, and I played a lot of it, but I can't remember it fully.
Also a very specific choice.
Yeah, I was just saying, it's kind of a surprise. Usually you hear people either talk about the arcade game or they talk about like Turtles in Time. You don't hear that one get too much love.
True. All right.
Rob, I got real quick. I gotta say, like, you bringing it, you cranking out your NES and all these NES games. Why don't we ever play any of these when we're at our house? You know, he's playing Xbox and stuff. I want to play retro games.
I don't know if my TV has a hookup for it.
Okay, I guess that excuse can fly.
All right. My number 6. Oh, I think Andy might be the only one that's played this game. He might have not even played this game. Number 6 is The Last of Us Part 1.
Such a good game.
This game is so good. It's like post-pandemic. It literally is post-pandemic.
Yeah, we might be getting the real life version pretty soon.
Zombies. They're like kind of zombies, but they're kind of not. And it's a story between like a fatherly figure, but not the father, and a younger girl. And the story
Is Maury in it?
Huh?
Is Maury in it?
Maury. Who's Maury?
Okay, thank you. Andy got it, I guess.
I don't get it, guys.
Well, you said not the father. I was like, how does he know? Did Maury tell
I
him?
get it.
Maury's running behind.
But the storyline is really, really good, and it's like the character development between the two characters is really, really good, and then just like the gameplay overall was just, I just remember just having a really good time playing it from start to finish, and it was one of those games, like Mike said, a lot of these single-player games, if it doesn't catch me, I'm just gonna stop playing it, and that was one of the games that I just could not put down, and it's really, really good. I haven't played the second one only because I don't have a PS4 because I'm more of an Xbox guy. So maybe one day I will hop on a cheap PS4 and play the second one. But that is, Mike, did you play it? I know Brent didn't play it.
No, I didn't play that one.
Andy, anything you want to say about it before it's going back to Brent?
So I played it for a bit, and I think I like, and then my friend let me borrow their new system for the one they redid it, and then I played it until he did it. And that's a good bit. Good.
Fix your mic, but yeah, cool. Thanks, man.
I'll just say real quick, you're right. I haven't played it, but like I've heard of it and seen little parts of it, and like I feel like I would love it if I played it. It seems like it's a game that's right up my alley. And but to your point, I haven't had a PS3 or 4. I've been more of an Xbox guy in recent years too. And but they're also, I heard they're making a TV show out of it. It's gonna be on HBO.
Yeah.
So that'll be
So that
interesting.
shows
That'll
how
be
good
dope.
it is to get a TV show from. All right, Brent, back to you. Number 5. We're at a time frame of about 35 minutes, so we might want to speed up a little bit.
Okay. Number 5. So this game is, I'm really putting like the whole franchise in here, but if I had to pick one in the franchise, I'm going with Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Great game.
Ooh, that's
So the reason I went, I'm sorry, what was that?
He said that was a throwback for robot translation.
So this game came out in 1996. I have it for the PlayStation. I think it came out for N64 also. Obviously, this is kind of like a callback to the first 3 Mortal Kombat games. You know, obviously everybody knows Mortal Kombat. It's like the pinnacle of fighting games. Very controversial when it first came out, like the violence and everything. Never really saw anything like that. The video game ripping people's heads off and their spines coming along with it and all that stuff. And they had congressional hearings about this game, so it's very controversial. But the trilogy to me is just the one I like the most because it's it's like you don't have to choose between the 3. It's the best of all 3. It's all the characters, all the levels, and you know. You can't go wrong with that. So,
True.
You know, to me, it's the best of the 2D ones. Obviously, it's been going on for a while. They're in the 3D now, and they're cool. But I don't know, the 3D ones didn't never hit me as much as the 2D ones. Again, it might just be my nostalgia brain, but that's how I feel.
I used to always get my ass whooped in that game.
I was okay at it. I was never like one of the best, but I could hold my own a little bit.
Andy.
If I come out robot, I'm backing out and jumping in again. But mine is WWF SmackDown Just Bring It. Came out in November of 01. I thought it was an awesome game. That's one of those games where like I can just keep playing for hours and hours. Me and my friend Ty used to go over his house all the time, and we would just sit there and just play. And they had a cool roster, you know.
Word. Yeah. No, it did. I agree with you. And we actually could hear you the whole time. So at first, I thought we weren't going to be able to hear you, and then you worked through it. So no translation.
I was about to say, if this didn't work this time, I'm just going to switch over to the iPad because I'm done.
Yeah. Brent, have you played that? I'm sure. I mean, it's a wrestling game. It was. I remember playing that game. I enjoyed it, but there's not really much to say besides that.
I'm not sure if I played Just Bring It. I didn't get as much into the SmackDown games except Here Comes the Pain was the only one I really played a lot.
Yeah, I played that one.
But like, you know, they're a lot similar. Obviously, they add new features, new stuff every year. But for the most part, if you played one SmackDown, you played them all.
They had great stories too back then.
Yeah.
Mike.
For me, number 5 was Borderlands 2 for the Xbox 360.
Great.
It came out in 2012. It's actually the newest game on my entire list that I have.
Wow.
The whole RPG element, the story, the different guns and such that you pretty much switch out all the time, just made it, you know, beyond cool. I play with Rob, I think, almost the entire time for the campaign. And
What Stallion?
Yeah, and it was one of those that it was awesome how they really kind of put everything that a game should have together, I thought.
I agree. And I'm going to keep my mouth shut because that might be on my list later. Andy, Brent, or can we move on?
Go ahead. I've never played them.
I'm good. Great game though.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5 might be some controversial shit, but I don't care.
Ooh.
Number 5 is Super Mario RPG.
Ooh.
Legends of the Seven Stars, baby. One of my favorite games. Top 5. And as you
Rob
can
with a
tell,
throwback.
it even has the little protective case because I cared about this game so much.
No
So
dust.
the dust gets trapped in there.
No, that's clean.
I was gonna say no dust getting in that baby, but yeah, he might be right. I might be wrong.
Okay. So the details of the game do kind of leave me a little bit, but I know that they put this on the Super Nintendo, that mini version. All I remember it of is it was like a Square Enix, which is like Final Fantasy, mixed with Mario. A storyline that it was like you had like the Goombas fighting with you, and in the beginning like Bowser just takes over and you have to get into Bowser's tower, and then there's like new characters that get introduced but never come back, like never see them again. This little elf guy. Oh, he's not.
Gino.
He's not even on the cover. Yeah, Gino. Yeah.
Yep.
He like little blue elf guy, whatever. But I just remember just having so much fun with that game because it was a Mario game, but it was a little different. The story was a little darker than most Mario games, of what I remember. And it was just this. It was like just the RPG factor. You could change moves, add moves, change out your party, and it was like my first real true experience with RPGs.
Nice.
Never played it. I don't like RPGs.
Yeah, that game was awesome. I remember Gina. If I remember right, Gina was like a puppet. It was like a Pinocchio kind of moment where they brought him to life. I don't remember how, but then I remember you played as Bowser too, as on your team. And I remember, thinking initially, oh, the bad guys on my team, I'm never going to use him. But then he was like the strongest character anyway, so you had to use him.
Yeah.
But
it was fun. I think I might replay it because I have the mini Super Nintendo up in my room. So, maybe I'll play it for shit's sake.
Little throwback nostalgia.
yeah.
Brent, back to you. 4.
All right, number 4. Again, this is another one where the whole franchise would go on here. They're all great, but if I have to pick one, I'm going Resident Evil 2, 1998 for the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. I don't even know if I really have to explain it much. It's Resident Evil. Anybody that's ever played Resident Evil knows how great it is. It's just a great game.
There's a lot of games that I say are great, but you're like, I don't know what the fuck that is. So I'm trying to explain it a little bit.
Fair point.
I never played it.
Fair point. But people that were playing games in this era, it's Resident Evil, man. It's like great characters. It's scary, especially it's just fun to play, especially late at night. All the lights out, zombies coming out, all kinds of weird monsters, lickers with their brains sticking out. And it's just a great game. The reason I go with 2, most people would probably say 4 is the pinnacle of the series. And 4 is a great game. I can't really argue too much with that. But the reason I like 2 is I like the dual story thing where you can play as Leon, and then you can also play as Claire. And it's kind of like the same game, but not. They go in different. Their stories go in different directions, and so it gives it a lot of replay value. So.
And you have to play both stories to get the full story.
Right.
So that's cool. Yeah. I would say that 2 was my introduction to Resident Evil because I didn't play 1 for N64. But 4 is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, 4 is a great game. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, and I didn't like the remaster of 2. That's just me, because they added that guy who like follows you around, and to me, you're just adding more stress to a game that already has a level of stress. So it's just not.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to play it either. I wanted to. I thought about buying it, but when you said that, it kind of like, because you're saying it's like the nemesis, right? Like.
Yeah, but he just follows you the whole game.
Because that's what happened. That's what happens in Resident Evil 3, and I didn't like that one as much because of that. I hate how he just pops up randomly and starts destroying you.
That's why I didn't like. That's why I didn't like 7.
Yeah, I haven't played 7. That's the one that's the first person view, right?
Yeah. I stopped playing it because I was like, I don't like being chased the whole game. Like the game's already scary enough, and just why do I have to keep running away from people?
I feel like it turned into like a whole new era.
Yeah.
With like the new ones and the old ones.
Oh yeah, they completely changed the stories and stuff.
Yeah, like I played the first 4, loved all of them. So like I said, 3, I still liked it, but I didn't like it as much because of the nemesis. But then 5, I played a little. I couldn't get as into much. When they started getting into where there's like 8 million zombies all at once and they're running at you.
I enjoyed
like,
5.
It's too much. Like I like more like the tense, like the scariness of it rather than just how many zombies can I kill at once or whatever.
I enjoyed 5. I didn't really like 6.
Maybe I need to go revisit 5 because I didn't give enough of a chance. I just remember not liking that beginning part where it's just like a million people coming at you at once.
I think they try to like
they
try to ambush you out quick. All right, Andy, go. Vote.
All right. I don't know if you can me, but the Arkham series is my next especially Arkham Knight. The series first started in 2009 with Arkham Asylum. For the Batman series, and the thing I love most about that was it's the first time that you're able to drive the Batmobile. And I'll tell you a story. There's a part where you're trying to beat Riddler and you gotta go through this race and all thing, and it literally took me a month to beat couldn't beat the race. Or he not able to be. Yeah, that's a great game. And
I heard
Batman.
most of that. I'm gonna say probably switch over to the iPad because you said you would.
Yep.
I heard that's a great game. That's all I heard.
Yeah, I
And
heard it took
Batmobile.
you a
Batmobile.
month because you couldn't beat him in a race, and that's pretty
Riddler.
much where the Riddler. I heard Riddler. Yep. But yeah,
Yep.
pretty
All
much.
right, switching over. Feedback.
I actually think I remember the exact part that Andy's talking about in that game, and I remember it being frustrating, but I don't remember it taking me a month. I remember
Yeah, it took
taking
me
a little while.
forever.
Isn't the final boss you fight in the Batmobile? I feel like I remember the final boss being that, but
I think for a little bit, and then you get out and then you fight them.
oh okay.
I think it's Red Hood.
Oh yep. All right, Andy, go to your iPad.
All right, switching over.
Go.
For me, number 4 was in 1996 Mario Kart 64. So I just remember playing this in college, and even being part of the EMT squad. We'd have to sit in a bunk room at nights, and we would just be staying up playing 2 games. The other one I'll mention later. But Mario Kart was like the big one that we all played for just hours on end. So, and whether it was, I know playing single player, everyone played single player, and then you always had the 4-player races. And I remember, I was almost always coming from behind to win at the last second.
Okay. I used to play the Super Nintendo version more than the N64 version. I really liked.
Yeah, they're always fun. I actually got the newest one on the Switch. It came with it when I got it, and Sarah and I have been playing it a little bit. It's fun.
Nice. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Mario Kart. There's just they make at least one version for every console. So
Yeah, even the most recent one I think I played was for either the Wii or GameCube. I don't own either anymore, but when they started drifting and getting a little bit more complicated, I was like,
Yeah.
I just like being able to press a button and go.
the Wii version had the wheel thing that you had to like rotate like that.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah. I used to use that like the nunchuck.
Oh, yep. All right.
Yeah.
So let's go. My number 4. Let's see if Andy's gonna.
Might take him a little bit.
Yeah, no.
There
All
you
right.
go.
So my number 4 is Donkey Kong 64. I don't know if you guys remember. It was a yellow case, and it was just a heavy story game. You had to go find the other, the other the other gorillas and monkeys and stuff. And you just had to go find all the bananas. And I just remember just putting so much time into this game and the dedication to find all the bananas, to help all the characters. And I couldn't tell you the details, but when I think of the game, I just remember just having a lot of fun.
That had a multiplayer version too, where you could like be shooting each other, kind of like not like Halo, but you could actually play multiplayer and shoot the other player. Like Diddy Kong had they each had their own special abilities.
I remember that.
Yeah, that had an expansion pack too that you needed.
The Rumble Pack.
No, the actual in order to play the game, you had to put the expansion pack that came in with the game in the system.
Oh yeah, right in the middle, right?
Yep.
But then it did come with the Rumble Pack too.
Might have. That I don't remember.
Oh, okay. All right. Brent, go. 3.
All right.
We're going to top 3.
Top
right. My number 3, again, this is another one where just a great franchise in general, but if I had to pick one, Grand Theft Auto Trace.
That was a good one.
So this game, I feel like anybody that was my age grew up playing video games and then played this when this came out. This was mind-blowing. Like the level of violence in this game, the things you could do in this game, the amount of people you could kill, anybody you want at any time, pick up a hooker, have sex with her and kill her and get your money back. I mean, this is like ridiculous. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this in a video game. Like, I can't tell you the amount of hours I put into this. It's just so fun to play. Even if you're not doing the missions, you just run around, you kill people, you grab a cab, pick people up, whatever. It's just open world, running around, doing whatever you want. It's just tons of fun to play, and I pumped a lot of hours into playing this game.
Yep. Same here. I will like just say ditto on everything you say.
Yeah, and like,
Fact.
and it's another one of those things where all the other ones have come out since. Like I've played them a little bit. Step 5, I never actually played. It's another one I own it and I want to play it. I got to find the time, but the other ones just never hit me as much. And it was even just like stupid little things, like they would tweak the controls a little bit, and I was like, it's not as good as 3. It's not as good as 3. Like I always just like 3 was like the one that I just loved.
I did play Vice City a lot though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I was so excited for Vice City to come out, and then when it came out, like I liked it, but it was like, I don't know, it just didn't hit the same way as 3 for me.
Yeah.
Grove Street.
Andy, go number 3.
All right, number 3, Crash Bandicoot, 1996. The very original one for PlayStation. I played that game for hours. And I don't know about you guys, but when that rock started rolling or the bear started chasing,
Yep.
I was scared as shit. I'm like, that's where like my anxiety level was up here. I couldn't take it. But Crash Bandicoot.
What about the ones where he jumps on the donkey or whatever it is, and he like rides through the thing? No, those are always hard to me too. That's a great choice. I love that game too. PlayStation 1, that was like my gaming prime. That's when I probably had the most fun playing that, and I never beat that game. I tried, but I could never get to the end.
That and Spyro. I remember those two.
I never beat Spyro. Ever.
Mike, number 3.
Super Smash Brothers for the N64. I even remember the commercial.
Yes.
Just like all the characters coming down the hill, almost like Teletubbies, and then all of a sudden they like just break out smacking each other. The game came out in 1999, and same thing. That game, along with Mario Kart that I mentioned in the previous one, I played in college to the point where it was kind of amazing that the system didn't like melt or something. I used to always love playing as Kirby, and we all had our own characters that we played as. Kirby and Mario were my 2 go-tos as characters to play with. So that's an easy number 3 for me.
Mine was Fox, and for the 64 version, Fox.
Yeah.
I was pretty good with Ness too, to be honest.
I was horrible with Ness.
With the whole.
They have come out with a mod for that now where you can actually be like all these other characters that they've added, and it's really pretty cool.
Yeah, you showed me that the last time.
Yeah, you can be like Bowser and stuff. It's awesome.
These guys don't know.
Rob can attest to it. I am absolutely 1000% horrible at Super Smash.
I would whip all 4 of your asses.
Yeah, I won't argue with you there. I never played them that much. I played a little bit of each one, and I was never that good either. I still have the original one for 64, the one that he put on his list.
All right, ready? Number 3. The whole series.
Ooh.
Borderlands, the whole series. All 3, not the prequel, because that one sucks. Borderlands, the reason why I like it is it's a first-person RPG shooter.
Oh, God, I hate it already.
Wait for it. It doesn't take itself seriously.
No, it does.
Full of just jokes, comedy, and then a lot of blood and a lot. It's like cell shaded. Is that what you would say? It's a different artwork, different style. So it's not like a Call of Duty that takes itself super serious.
So it's like Deadpool?
It's like Deadpool meets Call of Duty with an RPG aspect. And it's a funny game. It's a fun game. There's a bunch of different characters, different character classes that you can, level up and get new abilities and stuff. It is a fun game, and I've played every single one of them with this guy over here, Michael Banger. And he still hasn't beaten number 3.
Nope.
Still hasn't
Yeah,
beaten.
you gotta throw him under the bus. Come on.
Yeah, when you have a little one, and I probably spend about an hour a week gaming or so I have to be very selective about what I play, and Borderlands 3 is like I'm probably halfway done with it.
Yeah,
maybe.
we just gotta play it. We just gotta beat it out.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of others on the list right now.
Sure. All right, Brent. Number 2.
All right, number 2. Kind of teased it a little bit earlier. It's Dr. Mario, 1999 for the original NES. Yeah, hit me, Rob.
Bam.
This might be a little bit of a controversial thing to put so high on the list, but I just love this game. I love puzzle games. I feel like they're not the most popular genre, and this is another game I can't even imagine the amount of time I put in playing this game. Again, she's been kind of a recurring theme. My sister, she loved this game. We played it against each other. We still play it all the time. Anytime we go to her house, I have a modded Xbox, like the OG Xbox that has all the emulators on it. I bring that over, which is a chore because that thing is huge. Anybody that's ever owned one knows that thing is a brick. But yeah, we play it all the time still, and I could play this game all day. I love it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Andy, 2, go.
Number 2. So for me, this one I have a small backstory with it. Me and my dad used to love the movie Escape from New York, and it featured Snake Plissken. So coming in at number 3 for me, or number 2 for me, is Metal Gear Solid, the original.
Great game.
Tactical game. It's the story base to this game alone, if you've ever played it, the cutscenes alone is an entire movie. Like, you sit down for an hour and a half watching a cutscene and completely forget you're playing a game until you start getting shot at. But this game, there's multiples that came after it. It's such a great game.
I actually enjoyed number 2 better.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
why.
It's a great game. I never got as far in it as I wanted to, though. Like I don't know. I don't know if I just sucked, but I couldn't get that far in it. And I never played any of the sequels either. Again, I have them. I have 2 and 3 for PS2. I just never got around to playing them though.
I think the sequels got harder because
God, that doesn't sound good for me.
Stealth. You had to like hide, and if you didn't hide, you were just gonna die. So
well, that's kind of how the first one was too. It was always that was the big thing was like, you got to sneak up behind the guy, or if not, it makes that sound, and you see the exclamation point over the guy's head. Oh shit, I'm in trouble.
Mike, number 2.
I had from 1998, Zelda Ocarina of Time.
That's a good
That
one.
is probably the only N64 game that I beat multiple times. And it was just, I actually completed it all the way. There's some special arrow. I think it might be like the frozen arrows, or there's some kind of arrows you don't even need to finish the game. And I got those. I got like all the hearts you can get in it. It's the only game I think I've actually 100% ever completed. So that makes my number 2. Debatably could have been my number 1.
Nice. That was a great game. A lot of time gets put into that game. I remember putting a lot of time into that game. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. Awesome
Brent
story.
has probably never played it.
Yeah, this is probably gonna sound like blasphemy, but I've never really gotten that into Zelda. Like I played the original one on NES, but like I never played any of the N64 ones or any of the ones that came out after that. I know. I'm a terrible gamer. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, my number 2. I talked about it the other day, the last podcast or the 2 podcasts before that. Mass Effect, the first one.
I'm just gonna say right now, I never played it.
Of course you did. I shouldn't expect it. Why are we even asking you at this point?
I don't know, man.
All right. So again, this game is it's a third-person shooter RPG.
Okay, that sounds a little better. Okay. Well, you said RPG, and I kind of.
And a big thing about the story is that, like what Andy was saying before about some other games, is that your choices in the game determine how you're going to play the rest of the game. And I just remember like trying to 100% the game, trying to save everybody because I didn't know like what was going to play out. And I just remember when I beat the game, I literally just sat back and I clapped. I was like, "Holy shit! This game was so good." And I still remember just that moment. I was still living at my dad's house. I was sitting there watching, like I know exactly how my room was set up. Like it just brings back like this moment of like, wow, that game was so good. And it came out in 2007, and it got an 8.9 average rating. I didn't say that for some of the other games, but 8.9. Maybe not everyone loved it. Maybe it wasn't a perfect 10, but I fucking loved that. The second one was good. The third one I couldn't beat. I just couldn't. I just couldn't. Just couldn't. Brent, number one. Let's do it.
All right, you ready?
Go
Not
on.
that not that much of a surprise. I spoiled it on last week's episode, but booyah.
Oh!
WWF, no mercy. He kicked out. He kicked out. The year 2000 and 64, dude. I know I said it on the last two games, but I can't even imagine the amount of hours I've put into playing this game with my friends. But we still play it to this day. I will never get rid of my N64 because I have to be able to play No Mercy. Me and like 6 of my friends, we get together every so often. We've been playing this game for 20 years. I don't care any of these new wrestling games that come out. They don't compare. The controls on this is the best controls ever for a wrestling game. The new ones just don't compare. Like I don't care how good the graphics are. Like and this one does show its age a little bit, especially when you're doing a tag match, 4 guys on screen. It slows down a little bit, but it's just so insanely fun, especially when you're playing with people that are on the same skill level as you. It's a ton of fun. I just love it. It's my
The
favorite.
AEW wrestling game, apparently they're taking No Mercy as like a big.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know how they're gonna do the controls to make it the same though, because like I can't imagine how to do it without an N64 controller.
That's
Well,
true.
We'll see.
That's true.
We'll see how
Yeah.
it comes out.
Yeah. All right, Andy. Anything you want to say? If not, Mike. If anything you want to say. If not, Andy can go to his number 2.
Um, um,
Oh no, number one. Number one. Number one. Sorry.
um, uh, I'm good on that one until I go to my number one because
It is your number 1.
it is my number one. I thought
Yeah.
Mike was saying something on it. WWF No Mercy 2.
Wow.
Number one for me too.
A man of taste.
Let me tell you something though. So just think of the evolution of games. Now, when you buy a game for these new gen systems, you have to load it up. You have to wait for it to download onto your hard drive. It takes 5,000 hours. And then all of a sudden you're playing, the system crashes, you get mad, you can't play the game that you wanted to play that you just paid like $90 for. WWF No Mercy, original N64 video games, you blow that sucker 3 times, put it in the system, you're good to go. Just the nostalgia aspect of playing. That's just one game that like you put it in today and it's still fun. Like you could still play with your friends. It's not like Brent was saying, it's not hard controls. So like even people who don't play wrestling games or even people who don't play video games often, they can get the hang of it after like 1 or 2 matches. It was a toss up between this and WrestleMania 2000, but I think No Mercy will always take it.
Wow. I guess look, Brent, you have someone to invite over for the next.
Yeah,
Mercy
Andy, if you
night.
want to get down, next time we the guys get together and play.
I'm down.
All right, Mike. Numero uno.
My number 1 was kind of said already, actually. Gears of War, but specifically 2.
Oh.
Just because that was actually the first one I played, and then I went back and played the first one later. But Gears of War 2, I mean, the campaign, it was also like the first game I played on the 360. I would say it was the game that kind of brought me back into gaming too. Because I was pretty much done with gaming. I had like an old PS2, and then later on, I finally broke down and bought a 360, and that being the first one, between the campaign and the Horde mode, Rob knows, but the Horde mode on that game itself just sucked me back in. And then I know Brent doesn't like first player, and I'm not. I like Gears of War because it's third person shooter. And I think that makes me like a better player, being able to do some of these third player games. But that game was I mean, what other game can you play where you're on the end of your gun as a chainsaw? I mean, come on. So and that just kind of will always stick in my mind for better or for worse.
Such a great game.
Yeah,
It really is.
Such a great game.
Me and Mike have put hours, and
Yes.
hours and hours into that game. That's for sure. All right, you guys ready for number one? I think then we have a little time for honorable mentions. My number one is, I'm gonna get the rating in the year. Hold on. My number one is Zelda Majora's Mask.
Classic.
2000. Average rating was a 9.5. I think it's better than Ocarina of Time, bitches.
Classic.
All right, here's why. One, I played this game to the extreme. This was the first game that I bought a strategy guide for. I legitimately get, like Mike said with Ocarina of Time, you got all the hearts. I got all the hearts, got all the weapons, I got all the masks, and when you get the mask, all the masks, you get the god mask or whatever. You can only use for the boss. And you don't even need it, because when you're powered up and when you have all the other power-ups, you don't even need that mask to kill the boss, because you're already so powered and you kill the boss in like 2 hits. But I think it between that you're a kid, between the moon crashing and you have to do the time song or whatever it's called every 3 days so the moon doesn't crash on you, that adds an extra stress level to the game. The different masks that you can use throughout the game, so it actually adds to the character building of Link. And on top of that, all the side missions and stuff you have to do in order to get all of the other masks, between like going to one area at this time, exact time, and then doing a time jump back to go back to this area. The time, it had a mixture of time travel, moons crashing, magical masks, bow and arrows, bombs, swords, and magic beans. It had everything. Best game, hands down.
So just think of it though this way though, Rob. Without Ocarina of Time, you can't have Majora's Mask.
I don't care. Majora's Mask was better in my opinion.
That is true.
You can't have The Godfather 2 without The Godfather, but Godfather 2 is still better.
Ooh, that's a good point to pose.
Ooh.
All right. That was our top 10, individual top 10. You know, what do you guys think of? Do you think that we're crazy? Do you think that someone had a better top number one, like me? Majora's Mask is number one, the best
I
number
know
one?
some people think I'm crazy.
All right, so you guys have... I think we have a couple more minutes left. Does anyone have any honorable mentions? I could just run through my list real quick. You don't have to give an explanation behind it if you don't want. I'm going to run through mine real quick.
Go for
Kingdom
it.
Hearts series, the whole Kingdom Hearts series. Love those games. The first two were better. Final Fantasy X. Some people say Final Fantasy 7. Final Fantasy fucking 10. Greatest.
Okay.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the series, is on my honorable mentions. Dance Dance fucking Revolution is on my honorable mention. What?
Threw it back.
Right? Resident Evil 4 on my honorable mention because that game is so good. Halo 2 because I put so much time into that game. I used to be able to no-scope snipe people across the map like it was my job. If I got paid for how many no-scope headshots I got, I'd be a millionaire right now. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Sarah's been playing that on the Switch, the new one. I'm like, this.
Oh, I have it. If
Game
she
looks
wants to
lame.
come to my island to get my fruit off my island, she can.
All right,
I
I'll let her
love
know.
Animal Crossing.
Think
Oh,
my
wait,
island's
wait.
flooded.
Final Fantasy X.
Add that one.
Halo 2.
Ooh.
And last on my list
Damn, OG Xbox.
is Zelda Wind Waker. That's my honorable mentions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's OG Xbox in the fucking tin case.
In case.
All right, I can run through a couple here. So when I talked about X-Men, the arcade game, I was talking about that playing at that Jersey Shore arcade. And I feel like there's 4 pillars of the arcade experience when I was a kid. It was X-Men, it was the Simpsons arcade game, which I also loved, and I debated putting that one on there. It was kind of a toss-up. It's similar. It's 1 to 4 players. Each player has their own special weapon, and you're just walking through, you're beating people up, you're trying to save Maggie. Another game I dumped tons of quarters in. WrestleFest. This was the first wrestling game I ever played. The original arcade game was just the tag team matches. I loved that game. And then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, which we talked about a little bit before. You can see it behind Rob there. And
Wait, are you talking about this one?
Yes, that one. And that's the only one that got a home release. That one came out for the NES. The other 3, they never came out on a home system, so you could only play them at the arcade, or now with emulators you can play them. But I grew up playing those 4 games, dumping a ton of money in them. I love all those arcade games. I'll also throw in I talked about Mortal Kombat, said that was the pinnacle of fighting games, but you got to give Street Fighter some love too, just as a franchise.
Oh,
the only thing,
Absolutely.
Mortal Kombat, the only reason I put it above is because of the fatalities, but Street Fighter's great too. I also love Marvel vs. Capcom, especially the second one.
Great.
Yeah, there's another game I put a ton of time in. Me and Jermaine, we run it all the time. I always beat his ass. But,
Yeah, you heard that, Jermaine? He beat your ass, bro.
and you brought it up before. Punch Out was another one I loved as a kid. This is
This
another
one?
Yeah, and this is another one.
Ooh.
I could never. Here's the crazy thing. I beat Mike Tyson.
That
but
is
I
Mike
used,
Tyson. Punch
Yes,
Out.
I used the code to get to Mike Tyson because I could never beat Super Macho Man. And the guy before him, I could never beat him. Once he started doing that twisty torso punch, I was done, dude. I couldn't ever get past that. But and I'll throw in real quick too. I mentioned because Andy brought up the SmackDown game. I liked Here Comes the Pain. That was
Me
my
too.
favorite of the SmackDown series. No Mercy's still way better. Don't get me wrong, but of the SmackDown series, I loved Here Comes the Pain. And there was one other one I wanted to throw in. I forgot I had a visual aid. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Great game for the Dreamcast. I still have it, and I still have my Dreamcast.
Ooh. You want to talk about
I
it
never
still
owned a
works?
Dreamcast before.
I
It
got
still
it because it
works.
was only $50 brand new. This was after they discontinued it.
Wow.
And then also I mentioned how I'm a puzzle game nerd. This is a game I feel like is super overrated, but it's super fun to play and addicting. Intelligent Cube for the original PlayStation. Probably
Okay.
nobody ever
no
heard
idea what that is.
of it.
Never heard of it.
I'm not even gonna explain the gameplay because if I explain it, you're gonna be like, that sounds lame and boring. But it's fun to play. It's very addictive, and it's very underrated in my opinion.
Got it. Who wants to go next? Andy? Mike?
All right. So a couple of my honorable mentions. I don't have a couple of visual aids, but anybody ever play Marvel Puzzle Quest on the phone?
Yes.
Game is super addicting.
Ooh, why didn't we say phone games?
I don't know.
I've never really played any mobile games. This is one thing I never got into. I like to play with a controller,
You don't like WWE Supercard?
Never played it.
Yo, you just broke Rob's heart.
Shocker.
That's like
Sorry.
Rob's soul right there.
All right.
Another one for the phone is that the little bubble pop game. I don't know why, but I could sit there and play that thing for hours. You just line the 3 bubbles up, and you have to like explode all of them. For some reason, I can play that game for hours. Injustice and Injustice 2 were great games, great stories. I got a lot of people hate it, but Days Gone, I felt like it was a very Daryl Walking Dead style game. Granted, when the Horde ran after you, you pretty much either ran or die. If you slow down, you will die. And the new Spider-Man. I like the old Spider-Man for PlayStation. I thought they had a great story to it, but this one had a really good story to it, and I like the fact that it connected from the original Spider-Man game that came out.
I like this Spider-Man game better.
That is a great.
Maximum Carnage was my jam. The
Ooh.
red one, the red cartridge.
And the last but not least, the Royal Rumble arcade game. Love that game. Absolutely love that game.
Is that the one that came out for Dreamcast? I remember there's a Royal Rumble arcade game. I think they ported it to Dreamcast. I think it was the same one.
I think it's the same one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know didn't they come out with like a WrestleMania game for Dreamcast that was like absolutely terrible?
I don't recall.
That was GameCube. That was GameCube.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
don't remember, let's not forget the WrestleMania arcade game with like Doink and them where you hit them and a bunch of like clowns come flying out.
Yeah. Classic.
All right, Mike. Honorable mentions, and then we
I-
can be out.
I've got Galaga from 1981, the arcade game. You're just
Classic.
shooting
Ooh.
basically at aliens coming at you. I got Harvest Moon for the N64.
That's a good game. I forgot
Um,
about that game.
And then I got Street Fighter 2, the only Super Nintendo game to make it onto any kind of list for me.
Okay.
That one I just remember playing with my brother. I am awful at fighting games, and so was he. So it's always kind of funny to watch us basically just jump around the entire screen most of the time. So that finishes up my list.
I have.
I think it was like Street Fighter 2 Turbo or something.
Street Fighter 2. Look how
that's a good
fucking
game.
beat.
Damn, that's
this
beat up.
game up.
Yo, you played the shit out that game.
You're supposed to like beat up the other characters in the game, not on the game.
We got angry.
What about real quick? Anybody ever play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting game? It was like Tournament Fighters.
Nope.
Anybody
No,
remember that?
Yeah.
I don't.
What about Killer Instinct? I forgot. Is actually a good
Yes.
one. Fighting game.
Killer Instinct's a great game.
I have that on my Xbox One next time you come over.
I have it too. We can play online.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah. I was gonna throw that on there too. I forgot.
I thought about it, and then I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Best soundtrack ever.
Also,
Yeah.
again, puzzle game nerd. I can't believe Tetris didn't come up at all.
I thought of it actually.
What about Pokemon Puzzle League? To be honest,
Yeah, I did bring it up briefly, but yeah, that game was actually a lot of fun.
that was a lot of fun.
So,
Wasn't there a Yoshi Tetris style game for?
I think it was Yoshi's Cookie. That's
Yoshi's
the one
Cookie.
that he was talking about earlier.
yeah, my mom used to put hours into that.
Love that game.
All
Yeah,
right. well,
there's a lot of classics, man. It's hard to narrow it down to 10.
yeah. So we've been going pretty long,
Yep.
longer
Yeah,
than
it's
expected.
bedtime.
Only a couple minutes longer than expected. So I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna have Andy tell us what we're gonna talk about next week. And again, Mike, Brent, thank you guys for coming on, taking the time to write in a list, sharing the list with us. If you guys want to plug anything, you're more than welcome. Go ahead. If not,
Pleasure was all yours.
oh, thanks.
But no, I'm just kidding. Thanks for having me on 2 weeks in a row. I'm gonna go on a little hiatus now.
Yeah, we'll call you back. We'll call you back.
Absolutely.
Mike, we'll call you back when you want to be. I know Mike really wants to do an Office Revisited, but there's someone on the podcast who is a host of the podcast who has still yet to watch, I believe, one episode of The Office, even though he said, ask me every single week and I'll watch more of it. But
Dude,
he's
what
been out of
happened
work.
was-
He's been out of work for what, 2 weeks because of COVID?
Are you gonna pay for his
10
Peacock
days?
subscription, Rob?
Listen, you can watch the first 2 seasons for free. First 2 seasons for free on Peacock. So there is no excuse to not even watch the first 2 seasons.
Andy, I got the DVDs if you need them. I got you.
all right, bet. See what had happened was I forgot.
Uh-huh.
At
Even though you
first,
texted me, he
but
texted me the other day.
I
He
did
texted
ask
me
you
the other day. He
'cause I was
texted me the other day and
looking up.
goes, "What? Where's the Office on again? I'm gonna start it." But he did it.
I did look for it on Netflix. I just didn't get Peacock. So I gotta
The
get
free
Peacock.
version of Peacock has the first 2 seasons on it for free.
All right. Then that's what we'll have to do. So that way we can have Mike back and we can all talk about it and you guys can laugh and I can know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
Yeah, because that's what she said.
Oh, well, Daddy, I see what you did
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
there.
Andy,
False.
tell us what we're talking about next week.
Oh man. Well, tonight it's Sunday night. The feeling is right and right around the corner. It's that date, February of 14th. Whoa, Daddy, and we all know it's that Valentine's Day. It's that love day. We're gonna be talking all things Valentine's. We're gonna be talking times. We're gonna be talking music. We're gonna be talking everything that goes with it. Is it novelty, or is it a day to truly show your loved ones what you mean? Got to tune in to find out, whoa, Daddy. And it's the day of them grown man gifts, whoa, Daddy. Sorry, so I get a little excited about the whoa, Daddy if you can't already see. So tune in next week. All things Valentine's Day. You know how we do it, the Disaster Party Podcast. We like to keep everything relevant, so we bring relevance to you, whoa, Daddy.
And again, Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Brent. For the Disaster Party podcast, we out.
Peace out.
And it looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are about to win the Super Bowl. Okay, bye.
Ugh.
Oh,